Family, it's your favorite queer radio personality, Anna DeShawn, and you have just tuned in to Queer News Live. Family, you already know it's your favorite queer radio personality, Anna DeShawn, and this is Queer News Live. You can catch us here every Monday at 7 p.m. Central Time and Thursdays at noon. So Mondays in the evenings, Thursday during your lunch break, trying to come to you twice a week in this way because I know everybody doesn't make it to the podcast every single week, or maybe you want to hear some raw commentary from me that maybe I don't give on the podcast. Well, this is what we do. Okay. They say if you build it, they will come. Child, I believe you can build it, but you still got to go to the people. And so this is me coming to the people. This is actually also our first time streaming directly to our Substack. So what's going on, Substack? We're going to do this now too. I didn't realize I could. And then I saw Don Lemon today and I said, Don Lemon is on StreamYard. I'm on StreamYard. I'm going to figure this out. And so here we are. And I'm excited to be here tonight. You know, the podcast came out earlier this morning and it was a hard podcast today. The episode in general was just really tough because we had some really just sad stories that needed to be shared, right? And I mentioned this in the newsletter today as well. I do my best to balance, yes, the stories in which we share on the podcast every week. The podcast could very well be full of just sad stories. It could be. There's plenty of sad things happening. The podcast could also be full of good stories because there is a lot of good things happening, not just here in the United States, but around the globe. And I think it's just so important to provide a balance. And today's episode, I felt like it. We tried to provide a balance, but yet and still, right? There's just some really heavy stories that we share today. And just acknowledging that sometimes it's just really hard to do queer news. Sometimes it's just really hard to do this work. And yet it's still so very necessary because with the bad, there is good, right? And I think it's just really important that y'all know the good things that are happening too and providing a balanced approach. And we're going to do it. We're going to keep doing it. Okay. Every Monday, you can find queer news in your favorite podcasting apps, whether it's Apple, Spotify, YouTube, child, anything. Okay. Anywhere you're listening to your pods, you can find us there. And I would love for you to tell a friend, leave a review so other people know just how good it is. And so tonight, let's get into the top queer news stories from this week. First off, y'all know if you tune into the pod that every week I always start with a clip because we got to do our normal, it's like church. Okay. You got your program. Okay. And so in the beginning of the pod is a program that we follow, a prescription of sorts that we follow every single week. And I do include some type of clip to change it up every week, something that may not be a full story, but is worth talking about. Right. And usually it's something that's breaking and we haven't had enough time to like write a full story. So last night was a good example of this because the Tonys were on Sunday night. And so to turn something around from a Sunday night to a Monday morning, ain't nobody full time but me. Right. So we don't have an opportunity to really provide a full story about the Tonys in its totality. But how could we not talk about Queen Jean coming out, okay, and winning best costume? Yes. And becoming the first trans woman to win a Tony in that category. Come on. Now, I've known Queen Jean's work from her activism, her community organizing, from covering Cecilia Gentili's services, right? From covering anything that happens in New York City. Queen Jean, be there, okay? Sometimes she is the voice in the room. She's the one organizing the people. But here she is on one of the biggest stages. Yes, and the biggest stage for Broadway and winning for best costume for Cats, the Jellicle uh, version, which is a total homage to Black ballroom culture in New York City. Beautiful. If you haven't seen it, clips, or you haven't seen the deal with it, it is worth going to see. And I saw some clips when she was being interviewed about it. She created and sourced 500 pieces. 500 pieces. 500 pieces for this show, which is pretty incredible. Family, still hate cats. I mean, it ain't my favorite. It's not my favorite. But we can celebrate Queen Jean coming out on top in this moment. And I actually have a clip. Peppermint posted this clip on her Instagram, and I'm on. I think I can share it here. Let's see what happens, huh? All right. Let me remove Queen Jean there. And they not letting me. I got too many pieces of assets, but just know if you listen to today's episode, you'll be able to hear Queen Jean's speech, and it's so worth hearing. She talks about remaining visible, and she talks about representation and just how important it is, especially right now. So, if you want to hear it, okay, let me just tell you, uh, it's worth listening to. So, listen to the podcast today. Go find Peppermint on Instagram and you can watch the video clip. It is really good. Congratulations, Queen Jean. 500 pieces. Okay. Amazing. Crystal, absolutely celebrating the wins and the performances, but ALW can kick rocks. So the homie loves Broadway, okay? The homie loves Broadway. I know you was watching it all last night. And honestly, Pink hosting the Tonys was an unexpected surprise for me because she killed it. Okay, she killed it. If you didn't see what was going on, yo, do yourself a favor and check in, okay? Because she killed it. She gonna be on somebody's Broadway stage very soon. And her daughter should come along too. If you've never seen her and her daughter perform, her daughter has mad vocals, okay? And so I feel like if she gets a gig, her daughter should get one too. That's all I'm saying. All right, let's get into our top story for today, which, like I said at the top of the show, it was just a really sobering episode this particular week. Our top story had to be about our trans siblings who have lost their lives far too soon. And, usually I'm able to report on just one, right? I've had one occasion over like the last 5 years where I reported on two trans siblings being murdered in the same week. But family, if you didn't know, there have been 11 trans folks murdered since March. 11. Now, before March, we were at 0. And so if you listen to the pod on that March episode, I had to double check myself that this was the first person I was talking about this year, because I feel like every month, yeah, I'm having to honor another trans sibling who has been murdered. And so when the story came up in March, I was like, is this really the first one? I had to go to Sue and PGH Lesbian, Pittsburgh Lesbians blog, because she does such a great job chronicling trans lives. And she said the same thing. And I said, well, I'll be right. So to go from 0 from January through March to now having 11 since that time, and 6 of them in May alone, we just had to take some time, right? And remember our trans siblings, and also just remember the hate that's permeating, that's allowing this to be normalized. And I think part of my work is to ensure that we never normalize this situation, right? So we spoke everybody's name today on the podcast, and let us do it here too. Shael, Devonta, Lanisa, Alina, Danielle, Juniper, Murray, Erica, Spot, Luca, and Persia. We speak their names today. Yeah. Now, in political news, because we be needing good political news in our lives, okay? Especially after those stories. I don't know if y'all heard, but Trump's ban on trans folks in the military, a federal judge in DC actually said, this is unconstitutional, which means Trump's team has taken another L as it pertains to federal court and being held up against the law. All right. Because we know all those executive orders were unconstitutional. He was just waving a wand and being able to say that he tried to do something or was doing something and all the hateful ways in which he shows up in the world. And what we have found that is that when you get to the court system, right, and you land in front of a federal judge with any type of common sense, all these executive orders get thrown out. The injunctions stay in place from the lawsuits that have been filed because it is just completely unconstitutional. And I want to read to y'all a quote from the actual judge in this case, um, because some of these judges just be waiting, I feel like, to speak their piece to the Trump administration. And when these cases come across their desk, they just be like, oh, this is my time. This is my time to shine. Okay. And in this case, it was based out of DC, Judge Robert Wilkins, which is a black guy. Come on, black men. All right. Standing up for our trans siblings out here. And he wrote 108-page opinion about this. Okay. He didn't just write a couple paragraphs. He wrote a 108-page decision about this. Okay. Here we go. I'm going to quote him right here. In this litigation, the government has not attempted to defend or provide any factual basis for these disparaging characterizations of American citizens. The record shows that the purpose of the Hegseth policy is to target applicants and service members who express what the administration believes is a, quote, false gender identity. Yeah. He's like, stop lying. Y'all ain't even trying to defend yourself. You just think hate gonna pass here. And he said, not today. Okay. And I love that for us. I love this for my trans sibs who have voluntarily signed up for military service and just want to serve their country. I have never signed up. But there are people who want to serve in this way. And when you look at the recruitment numbers, they ought to let them. Right. And so a DC judge has placed this injunction here, which is really, really important for them. This is their livelihood. This is their benefits. This is how they take care of their families. This is their housing, right? Education, if they're in school. Like when you join the military and you choose to make it your career, it is literally that. And they've been playing with that. Yeah. Since day one in office when he went about signing all those executive orders. Right. But it's a big win. And you should know that there was another big win. And it's important for us to celebrate that. Now, back to what I was saying before about this being one of those episodes that just, yeah, it's just tough. It's just tough. Yeah. So we have to talk about Pulse. Yes, Pulse nightclub in Orlando, Florida, where 10 years ago, can you believe it's been 10 years? 10 years ago, where that massacre took place. 49 of our siblings lost their lives that day, but so many others' lives were changed that day, right? And the anniversary is this Friday. And so we had to talk about Pulse today because our timelines are going to be filled, right? Event calendars are getting full with memorials, candlelight vigils. I'm seeing them happen here in Chicago. They're popping up. And we just can't never forget that moment. At that time, it was the largest massacre, the biggest massacre in United States history. And this wasn't a big place. This wasn't a big place. And the torture, right, of trying to get out. It's just really horrific what happened there. And over the last 10 years, we've reported about the ongoing situation in Orlando with the site of Pulse, right? There have been many people, organizations that have popped up, survivors' families, survivors themselves organizing, trying to pull something together, things being legitimate, things then becoming illegitimate, having to get Orlando involved in it of itself. And so now they are, and they're overseeing the site, the city is, and they have these plans, right? And so we just recently reported back in March that they demolished the old building. But what they have done is preserve some pieces of it. Okay. And so they've preserved some pieces of it that will be incorporated into this new site that's supposed to open up in 2027. And let me tell you, the renderings of this site are really, really beautiful. They seem to be very thoughtful. There's places where people can leave remembrances. There's places where you can sit in quiet and silence. There's a reflecting pool. It's just, it seems really thought out and honestly well overdue. So we'll keep following as that becomes a more of a reality. Um, because at the end of the day, the site has just been sitting there for 10 years, right? Um, and I know that so many people go back there, right? Um, to memorialize their loved ones that were lost. So we'll see how this all plays out. But Friday will definitely be an emotional day for so many as we remember what happened that day. Because 10 years ago, that's wild. 10 years? I would have never guessed that it's been 10 years, right? So, family, what's going on? I'm your favorite queer radio personality, Anna DeShawn, and this is Queer News Live. I come to you every Monday evening at 7 o'clock Central, every Thursday at noon, with queer news stories. Monday nights, if I don't have a guest, I'm giving you the recap of what we talked about on the podcast today, just in case you haven't had a chance to listen. Now, it's worth listening. Don't get me wrong, because the podcast is good. You can listen wherever you get your podcast. And we've just moved to Substack. And I would love for you to check us out and subscribe. It's queernewspod.substack.com. We just dropped our Chicagoland business directory. It's a cute situation. There's over 73 businesses on this directory owned and operated by lesbians. Okay. And when I was thinking about our pride coverage for this year, this is what bubbled to the surface and the people are loving it. I honestly have never had a post perform so well in my life. And so here's some more lists on the way. We went to visit about 5 of those businesses on the list. So we're going to be having videos and more information coming out about these businesses because we all we got. Okay, we got to support our own businesses out here. And I thought I knew the lesbians. I thought I knew where the lesbians were in Chicago. And I just want y'all to know I had no idea. We were in so many beautiful places all over the city doing all types of things. Landscaping. We got consultants out here. We got bakeries. We got Asian fusion grills. We got women's sports bars. We got DJs. Anything you need. Clearly, a lesbian is doing it right here in the Chicagoland area. And so with that, we want to start getting together. All right. I had a homie on Facebook when I mentioned I was building this out, and she said, well, we should do a get together, a networking night. And so here we are. It's called the L Suite. All right, we're getting together next week, June 18th, and we're going to gather. We've had 10 people RSVP so far. I look forward to doing these quarterly because we don't know each other. If we don't know each other, we can't support each other. And what's the better way in this time than IRL events where we can get together, no pressure, no pressure at all, but just getting to know each other and being able to place where we can support each other's businesses, see if any of our work is aligning so that we can all thrive out here. I think that's really the point, right? We all want to thrive, be able to do our work that moves us, right? Things that we're passionate about. And so we calling it the L Suite. It's going to be a Chicago meetup, June 18th. If you're not doing anything, join us, okay? It's going to be a good time. All right, now I think it's a beautiful time. This is usually a time in the show we move over to culture and entertainment. And I tell people all the time, I do culture and entertainment because it's always 20 years ahead of the politics of the thing, okay? And politics can be very depressing, okay? That's just the facts. But culture and entertainment, all right, tends to come through. It's what's keeping us alive. It's what's giving us art. Yes, giving us music. And this right here is a real good example of that. Kaylani is going on her world tour, and Durand is joining her. Okay, and I'm so excited because Durand's going to be here in Chicago. Yes, indeed, at Pride Fest, Saturday, June 20th at 2 p.m. Headlining. Come on, Durand. I cannot wait to be there. If you don't have all the information about the entire lineup for Pride Fest, visit pridefest.com. Okay? I want y'all to do that for yourself because it's going to be so good. It's going to be so good. Durand is amazing. Such an amazing performer, such an amazing vocalist. And now he has teamed up with Kaylani. Let me tell y'all a couple of places. A few of the places they're going. Okay. They're kicking off the tour on Juneteenth. That's about as blackety black as you can get. Okay. They're clicking it off on Juneteenth in Las Vegas. They're going to make stops in Canada. Of course, they're here in the US, Germany, France, the Netherlands, the UK, Belgium, and Portugal. How dope is that? Come on. Two black queer entertainers on a world tour together in this climate. Yo, let's just take a second to talk about how beautiful that is. Yeah, I was talking with a homie the other day just about how we really uplift the Harlem Renaissance, right? 20s, the 30s, with the beautiful art that was created during that time, the things that were written during that time, the people who were writing during that time, right? And we have to also remember the plight that Black Americans in this country were going through during the Harlem Renaissance. It was awful, less than human in so many places across this country. Even though the Harlem Renaissance was happening in New York, my God, it was still not safe for Black people in New York City, right? In so many ways. And yet, even during that type of hell, beautiful art was created to tell the story about what was happening during that time, right? You got Gladys Bentley over here in a full out white tuxedo singing to women. Huh? They even renamed the whole club after her because everybody was coming to see her. And so it's not lost on me in these moments when we have a world tour like this featuring two Black queer artists going all around the world and in the United States during a time where, and we have a federal administration, right, looking to erase trans folks and queer folks, that this, like something like this is possible. Like we can go and see this for ourselves. And the tickets ain't even that wild. They range $57. Yo, now they do go up, but nothing like a Beyonce ticket. Highest ticket my producer saw was $461. Yo, I think Beyonce started about 300, right? So I think that we can't be lost on just how special these types of moments are. So if Kaylani is coming to your city, Durand is coming too, I think you should pick up a ticket. That's all I'm saying. It's going to be a really, really good show. And then for our last culture and entertainment story for today, I want to let y'all know that Level Sporting Club is now open here in the city of Chicago. It's the second women's sports bar to open here in the city. This one is owned by a woman, a lesbian of color. And then the investment group are all Black and brown women. I think it's amazing. I was able to go to the grand opening last week. It was a time. I need to put a video together. It was great to see them cut the, the red ribbon in the front. They had these, the food was so good. There was this crab rangoon mozzarella stick situation. I know. You can look at me and you're hearing me and you're like, Anna, I don't believe you. And I'm just telling you right now, it was delicious. I had so many of them. Like the food was chef's kiss. Okay. And what's really dope about it is that it's a big place. When you walk in, it's just what you think a sports bar should be. Plenty of seating. It's open seating as well. Like there's two sides and then like this big open space in the middle. All right. TVs over all the walls, a big old bar, just what you would expect. Yes. And then you go downstairs and it's exactly what you don't expect. It's a red light special down there. I'm telling you right now, it's a red light special. It's a piano down there. They want it to be like a piano bar vibe. It's got its own bar down there. It's a whole different place. A whole different place. And it's such a cool vibe. So I'm excited that Level Sporting Club exists here in the city. I'm excited that it exists in Wrigleyville, which is where the Cubs play, which is historically where the Bros reside. Okay. And now there's a women's sports bar only playing women's sports in the midst of all of that. In the midst of all of that. That's a huge win. Not to mention, it's owned by people of color. It's a vibe. It's a vibe. So if you're on the north side this summer, it's worth stopping in to Level Sporting Club and supporting what they got going on. Okay. All right. Family. This has been our top queer news stories for today. And if you listen to the pod, you know also that I do Anna's Got a Word because Anna's always got a word. And my word today for today was together. Yeah, it was about just us remembering that we get through this mess together. So if you're feeling down, depressed, lonely, I'm telling you right now, find you an organization, find you a group, find you a meetup, find you some like-minded people, make your way outside. Okay? Summertime shy is nothing to sleep on, but wherever you reside, find your people. Okay? Because we only get through this mess together. There was a lot of sad news today on the show, but there was a lot of good news too. All right. We're winning a lot of battles. We lose a couple, but we win a lot. And we will definitely win the war, but we only do it together. Never forget that. Okay. Now, y'all see the ticker down here? I need y'all to go subscribe to our Substack. All right. queernewspod.substack.com. I'm looking to get to 2,000. All right. This summer. I believe we can do it. So if you want to be informed, don't want to keep scrolling and seeing the news, it's too much to take in. I got you. I'm your person. Okay. Tune into the podcast and I'll keep you informed without a doubt. And I would love for you to become a paid subscriber. It starts as low as $5 a month. So if you believe LGBTQ stories need to be amplified, if you love and respect how I report on the news and share our stories, join our cute crew. It's our paid community. They get special perks and special videos from me. And it only starts at $5 a month, literally cheaper than a coffee. Yeah. So I hope that you would decide to support the work in that way. And until Thursday, huh? Peace.